Imagine a world without secrets. Not the secrets you tell your best friend, but the ones you keep only for yourself. The fleeting thought you have about a stranger on the bus, the silent rehearsal of a difficult conversation, the private universe of your own consciousness. For all of human history, this inner world has been the one truly private place. No one could enter without your permission. No one could know your thoughts unless you chose to speak them. But what if that were no longer true? What if technology could build a doorway into the mind, allowing others to see what you see in your mind's eye, to hear your unspoken words? This idea is both thrilling and, honestly, a bit terrifying. It promises a new era of understanding and communication, but it also threatens the very last bastion of personal privacy. This is not a scene from science fiction. This is a possibility dawning in the laboratories of today, on this very planet. Scientists are on the verge of what we might call mind reading. Not the mystical kind you see in old movies with crystal balls and swirling fog. This is something far more real, grounded in the hard data of neuroscience and the incredible power of artificial intelligence. It's a quest to translate the language of the brain itself. We are beginning to learn the grammar of thought, the syntax of imagination. The implications are as vast and profound as the cosmos itself, forcing us to ask questions not just about what we can do, but what we do with such power. The journey into the mind begins with a simple yet monumental shift in perspective. Our thoughts, our feelings, our very sense of self, they are not ethereal ghosts floating in a machine. They are the product of biology. They are the result of an intricate dance of electricity and chemistry happening inside our skulls. Every memory, every idea, every flicker of emotion corresponds to a physical pattern of activity in our brain. For centuries, this intricate neural ballet was completely hidden from us. But now, we have the tools to peek behind the curtain. We can watch the brain as it thinks. And if we can watch it, perhaps we can also learn to understand it. This new frontier isn't just about satisfying our curiosity. It holds the potential to heal and to restore. Imagine giving a voice to someone who has lost the ability to speak. Imagine allowing a person paralyzed from the neck down to control a robotic arm with their thoughts alone. These are not future dreams. They are the first incredible achievements of this technology. The quest to read the mind is also a quest to mend the mind and reconnect it to the world. It's a testament to human ingenuity, our relentless drive to understand the universe, including the universe within our own heads. But with every step forward, the ethical landscape becomes more complex, and the questions we face become more urgent. So how does it work? How do we even begin to listen to the whisper of a thought? The answer lies in the brain's fundamental building blocks, neurons. You have about 86 billion of them. Each one is a tiny biological cell that communicates with others using small electrical pulses. When you think, feel, or move, vast networks of these neurons fire in specific coordinated patterns. It's like a symphony, with billions of instruments playing in perfect harmony to create the music of your consciousness. For a long time, we could only hear the roar of the entire orchestra, but now we are learning to pick out the individual notes, the specific patterns that correspond to a particular thought or intention. This process is called neural decoding. It's the science of translating brain activity into something we can understand, like words, images, or commands. Think of it like learning a new language. At first, you only recognize a few words. Then you start to understand simple sentences. Eventually, you can appreciate the poetry. Our current technology uses sensors to listen to the electrical chatter of neurons. Some methods, like an electroencephalogram or EEG, use caps with electrodes that sit on the scalp to pick up the broad rhythms of the brain. These are non-invasive, but give us a somewhat blurry picture of what's happening deep inside. For a clearer signal, scientists can use more invasive techniques. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, machines can track blood flow in the brain, revealing which areas are most active from moment to moment. While incredibly detailed, fMRI machines are huge and expensive. You can't exactly walk around with one. The most precise method involves implanting tiny electrodes directly into the brain tissue. These are called brain-machine interfaces, or BMIs. They can listen to the firing of individual neurons or small groups of them. This gives us the highest fidelity recording of brain activity, the clearest sound from the neural orchestra. It's this direct line to the brain that has opened up the most astonishing possibilities. The data we collect from these devices is immensely complex. A few seconds of brain activity can generate a staggering amount of information. On its own, it's just noise, a chaotic jumble of signals. This is where artificial intelligence comes in. AI algorithms are like master code breakers. Scientists train them by having a person think of something, like moving their hand to the left or picturing a red apple, while the sensors record the corresponding brain activity. The AI sifts through the noise, learning to recognize the unique neural signature for that specific thought. After enough training, the AI can see that pattern again and know with surprising accuracy what the person is thinking. The symphony of the mind is finally being transcribed. The most immediate and life-changing application of this technology is in medicine. For people who have been locked in by paralysis, unable to move or speak due to injury or diseases like ALS, brain-machine interfaces are a miracle. They are a bridge between a healthy, active mind and a world it can no longer interact with. By implanting a small array of electrodes into the motor cortex, the part of the brain that controls movement, scientists can tap into the neural signals for intended actions. The person simply thinks about moving a cursor on a screen, and the BMI translates that thought into a command for the computer. This isn't theory, it's reality for a growing number of people. Individuals who have been silent for years are now able to type messages to their loved ones, browse the internet, and regain a measure of independence. They do this by mentally guiding a cursor across a virtual keyboard. It might seem slow to an able-bodied person, but for someone who has no other way to communicate, it is the restoration of their voice. Companies like Neuralink, founded by Elon Musk, are working to make these interfaces smaller, safer, and more powerful, hoping to one day make them a standard treatment for paralysis. The goal is to create a seamless link between thought and digital action. The technology has already moved beyond simply controlling a cursor. Researchers have successfully enabled paralyzed individuals to control advanced robotic arms. A person can think about reaching for a cup of coffee, and a sophisticated prosthetic limb will perform the action. The BMI decodes the complex sequence of neural commands for reaching, grasping, and lifting, translating them into instructions for the robotic motors. The user can even receive sensory feedback from the arm, allowing them to feel the texture and pressure of the object they are holding. It's a powerful demonstration of how we can reconnect the brain to the physical world, even when the body's natural connections have been broken. These breakthroughs are a profound source of hope. They show us the incredible potential of this technology to alleviate suffering and restore human dignity. The people participating in these research trials are true pioneers, venturing into a new realm of human experience. Their courage is paving the way for a future where paralysis may no longer mean a life of complete dependency. They are the first citizens of a world where the mind can directly command machines, where the boundaries between biology and technology begin to blur. Their success is a powerful argument for continuing this research, for pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. For a long time, decoding movement was the primary focus, but the holy grail of mind reading has always been something deeper, decoding the rich internal world of language and imagery. Can we see what a person is seeing in their mind's eye? Can we hear the words they are thinking? Until very recently, this seemed like a distant dream. The brain patterns associated with abstract thought are infinitely more complex and subtle than those for simple motor commands. Finding the neural signature for the concept of justice is a much taller order than finding the one for move your arm up. But the explosive growth of artificial intelligence has changed the game completely. Modern AI models, particularly those known as deep learning networks, are exceptionally good at finding patterns in massive, noisy datasets. This is exactly the challenge presented by brain data. In groundbreaking experiments, researchers are now using these AIs to reconstruct what a person is seeing. A volunteer might watch a movie clip while an fMRI machine records their brain activity. The AI analyzes this data, learns the relationship between the visual stimuli and the neural response, and then attempts to reconstruct the video frames based on brain activity alone. The results are still blurry and dreamlike, but they are astonishingly recognizable. We are taking our first steps towards seeing another person's dreams. Even more incredibly, we are beginning to decode language. Scientists have developed systems that can translate brain activity directly into text. In one study, an AI was trained on the brain signals of a person as they listened to spoken stories. After learning the patterns, the AI was able to generate a continuous stream of text from the participants' brain activity as they imagined telling a story of their own. It wasn't a perfect word-for-word transcript, but it captured the gist, the meaning of what the person was thinking. This is a monumental leap from decoding simple movements. It's a move from the how to the what of thought. These breakthroughs are made possible by our growing understanding of how the brain represents concepts. When you think about a dog, it's not just one neuron that fires. A whole network lights up, representing its sound, its shape, its feel, and your emotional connection to it. AI models are learning to interpret this distributed code. They can see the pattern for dog and distinguish it from the pattern for cat. The more data they are trained on, the more nuanced their understanding becomes. We are no longer just building a bridge from the brain to a machine. We are creating a universal translator for the language of thought itself. As this technology gallops forward, it drags a host of profound ethical questions behind it. We must pause and consider the world we are building. If your thoughts can be read, who owns them? Do you? Does the company that made the device? Does the government? The concept of mental privacy is something we've never had to formally define, because we've never had to defend it. But in a future with widespread mind-reading technology, it could become the most important human right of all. The potential for misuse is staggering. Imagine a courtroom where your memories could be subpoenaed against your will, or a job interview where your unspoken biases are scanned. The dangers of surveillance take on a chilling new dimension. Governments or corporations could use this technology to monitor citizens or employees for dissident thoughts or lack of focus. It could create a society where conformity is enforced not by law, but by the constant fear of being mentally exposed. What would happen to creativity, to rebellion, to the very freedom to think differently if our minds were an open book? The pressure to have only approved thoughts could be immense. We must establish clear and robust legal frameworks to protect our cognitive liberty before the technology becomes ubiquitous. We need a firewall for the mind. There is also the risk of manipulation. If a device can read your thoughts, it's a short step to a device that can write them. Imagine advertisements that are beamed directly into your consciousness, tailored to your deepest unspoken desires, or political propaganda that subtly nudges your opinions without you even realizing it. The line between external influence and your own authentic thoughts could become dangerously blurred. Could your personality, your beliefs, your very sense of self be altered by an external device? This technology forces us to confront the question of what it means to be an individual with free will. And what about equality? This technology will almost certainly be expensive at first. Will it create a new divide in society between the neurotechnologically enhanced and everyone else? Will some people be able to learn faster, communicate more efficiently, or even back up their minds while others are left behind? These are not easy questions, and there are no simple answers. They require a global conversation involving not just scientists and engineers, but philosophers, lawmakers, and all of us. The power to read minds is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used to build or to destroy. The choice will be ours. So where are we now, on this day in 2025? It's important to separate the reality from the hype. We are not on the brink of a thought police state tomorrow. The current technology has significant limitations. The most accurate systems still require invasive surgery and are confined to laboratories. Non-invasive devices like EEG caps can only decode very simple concepts and are easily thrown off by a stray thought or an itchy scalp. Every person's brain is unique, like a fingerprint, so any system needs to be painstakingly calibrated for each individual user. We are still in the early days of this revolution, like the dawn of the computer age in the 1950s. However, the pace of progress is accelerating exponentially. What was science fiction a decade ago is now a research paper. What is a laboratory experiment today could be a consumer product a decade from now. It is not unreasonable to imagine that within our lifetimes we will see the emergence of simple, non-invasive headsets that can reliably decode a limited vocabulary of thoughts. These might allow you to control your smart home, type a message, or even communicate simple ideas to another person wearing a similar device, a form of synthetic telepathy. The wilder possibilities, like backing up your entire consciousness to a computer, remain firmly in the realm of speculation for now. For all the futuristic speculation, we must not lose sight of the people this technology is helping today. Every day, real individuals with paralysis and other neurological conditions are using brain-machine interfaces to reclaim parts of their lives. Researchers are exploring how these tools can be used to monitor and treat severe depression, epilepsy, and other mental health conditions by providing a direct window into brain function. These real-world benefits are powerful and undeniable. They are the human face of this technological frontier, reminding us of the immense good that can come from our quest to understand the mind. We stand at a crossroads. The power to read minds is slowly moving from the realm of fantasy into the world of fact. The journey will be long, filled with incredible breakthroughs and complex ethical dilemmas. It forces us to ask a fundamental question about our species. Do we truly want this power? If we do, how will we ensure it is used wisely to uplift humanity rather than to control it? The universe inside our heads is the most complex and beautiful thing we have yet discovered. As we learn to navigate it, we must proceed with caution, with wisdom, and with a profound sense of awe. The future of thought is coming, and we must decide what it will be.